going on, guys? It's Kevin from TK's Garage 405 here. Just doing another video for this week here. I was kind of thinking of some different random things or whatever. If anybody's got ideas for just things to talk about while I'm on the road and stuff, I'm always just thinking of random things as I'm traveling around and stuff. But I was going to talk a little bit about Street Outlaws this week. I watch a lot of that. I keep up with all the shows pretty well, except for MPK. The reason I don't really watch MPK, I like that stuff live. I've actually seen some of those events live, but I just, on TV, it's just sort of dry for me. Just whatever, it's just me. Like I said, a lot of people watch it. I mean, they fill stands every week and stuff like that. It seems like a lot of people watch it on TV, which is cool, but I don't know any of the stats. I know there's some pretty impressive people on the internet keep track of this stuff really good and where everybody's standing and stuff like that, but I do keep little highlights and stuff like that. But just yeah, I'm just kind of curious what everybody thinks of where the show is gonna kind of be heading and stuff. It's been on for a long time now, and you know, just kind of wondering what everybody's thoughts, I guess, are of what is going to kind of continue in the future here. They're trying some sort of a different, I guess, avenue of going to Australia there. I started watching the show, and I will continue because it was okay, but I actually saw the bulk of it on Murder Nova's channel, on the 187 Customs channel, before the show actually happened. And I actually thought just watching his own personal channel was way more entertainment and more interesting than watching the actual Street Outlaws there. It was, I don't know what it was. It was just how they put the show together there and stuff. It was dry for me. So, like I said, a lot of people watch it like it. I don't know. I keep hearing that, like, ratings are going down there and stuff, and I know they got moved on their days and when they should be and stuff. I guess I'll kind of talk about what I think has sort of happened and what sort of driving things going in maybe a different direction or whatever. I think it's still a fairly popular show. I mean, you know, there's just some shows that aren't going to be beat out for ratings and stuff like that. I mean, some people just gravitate to certain shows and stuff and whatever, but you know, it's been out for a long time now. That's a big thing. Changing the days, people don't like that. When you get used to watching something all the time, you know, a lot of people watch it live or whatever, and like, the day it happens, and then they don't like it if they get spoilers or whatever and things like that. So, like, I pay for Discovery so I can watch it earlier than other people, so that's what kind of happens too, is a lot of people watch it like in the morning and then sort of see spoilers and stuff, so people don't like that as much. I mean, obviously some of the elephants in the room here, nobody's really talked about it. I mean, the Big Chief and Sean kind of, you know, not being together, you know, on the show and stuff anymore, and Sean being the, you know, being basically the head of the show there, race master. I think that was a pretty drastic change. I think he's actually done a really good job with it. I think actually structure-wise and stuff, and all, I don't know if it was all him or if it's just production kind of forced it that way to make it look like it was him or whatever, but either way, I think he's doing a pretty good job. But there was a lot of games and a lot of stupidity before, and the things that had nothing to do with racing, like guys chasing each other around on golf carts and just dumb things that were just, it was just getting kind of stupid, honestly. People want to see actual racing and stuff, you know. We like the entertainment value of it, but not when it's just ridiculous like that, right? So I think that was a lot of it. But I mean, when Big Chief and Sean were together, there's just kind of no doubt anybody can kind of agree that there was just some sort of a kind of a spark, I guess, or whatever, that's just not there anymore after Chief left. And whatever, I respect all that, like him doing his own thing and Sean doing his own thing and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes when the big changes like that happen, it's just not quite the same. I will say Ryan really stepped up and really, I mean, he's really obviously stepped up for the team, and he actually, even though he's like pretty subtle about, you know, it's pretty subtle, he's a pretty, you know, you can tell he's definitely just like a really stand-up dude or whatever, but he's kind of like subtle in his own way, and he's kind of got like a funny humor and like how he kind of deals with things and stuff. He's not like in your face yelling, screaming kind of thing. He's like, so he's actually stepped up, and I think has actually been like a pretty good addition to the show. there's been a lot of people that aren't part of the show anymore that were the original people. I think a lot of people liked the Farm Truck and Asian coming back last season, but it was kind of a, I think everybody had hoped they would bring something back like the truck, or maybe something a little different, an actual streetcar or something like that. Maybe not the Jeeps or whatever as much. I heard a lot of that. So I think for the most part that helped probably a little bit, but just maybe the context. And I think just for what I sort of thought there, and sort of, I guess, the impression that I think kind of came across with them coming back with these Jeeps, so it was like, it was good and bad, because it was like, well, these Jeeps appear to not be that fast, right? So like, then you got a lot of people thinking, well, these guys aren't really that fast then, even though a lot of the other cars were obviously faster than them, and they had some lucky brakes and stuff there. But it seemed like, but then on the flip side of that, then it gave like average guys like myself, for example, thinking like, oh, I might actually be able to race with these guys someday, kind of like, oh, maybe I actually could compete a little bit, maybe not get totally destroyed or whatever, you know what I mean? So it was probably kind of the flip side of the coin there. Both ways it could have gone, but I think, like I said, people were happy to have them back. Maybe this year they'll have a little different, maybe a little different in what they bring from vehicles and stuff like that. But I think the Jeep thing was, I don't know, I don't think that was maybe the best for the show or whatever, but I think those guys not being on the show regularly has been a problem. Like, everybody liked them going out racing their truck, doing some fishing, just having their shenanigans or whatever. Even before, when you go back to the earlier seasons, when there was always like, Sean and Chief, and I don't know, there's like all these guys just playing pranks on each other. They bought the cop car and kind of went out and did some funny stuff, and there were cops or whatever pulling people over while they were racing, and just some of those things. I think that was kind of funny, and I think a lot of people thought that was pretty hilarious how they did that kind of stuff. And they've kind of gotten away from that like sort of background stuff of like, maybe they are just way more serious about it now because they're taking it so much more serious, I guess, to be competitive. But it is still kind of cool when they have some of that stuff in the background where it's not really happening anymore. I think that's some of probably why it's faded a little bit. They've had a big change over people that were the OG people and stuff, some of those guys had passed away and stuff. You got guys like Flip, that was a pretty awesome part of the show there or whatever, and he kind of passed away. And then some of the other guys that were maybe more drama but not really fast was like Barley, for example. He was pretty funny to watch. It was kind of good entertainment there and stuff, but his car just couldn't be competitive, and probably, I don't know really what happened there, but he just couldn't keep up or whatever eventually, I suppose. And then that was kind of the end of that. But a lot of those guys that were the original guys were kind of people that were not really part of the show anymore, and then they just kept replacing them with other people, and some were really good fits. Ryan wasn't there from the get-go, but kind of fit in pretty good when he did come. Obviously winning helped that, but there's people like Lizzie, for example. She fit in pretty good, and they started joining Kai, obviously, and all these guys that came in, but they came in with sort of like a, I don't know how you want to say it, I guess like a power play or whatever. Like, they're power players, I suppose, right? Like, they were pretty fast cars, they were pretty competitive, actually had some interesting races and stuff like that, very close or whatever. Cash days, those are obviously popular. I think those go way better, right? I think their last Cash days was actually probably one of the best ones that they've had. I felt like that was pretty cool. Obviously JJ and stuff. JJ's got himself in this, I don't know, whatever, a little slap on the wrist or whatever for this driving down the track with the guy in the back of his truck there. Again, if that was on TV though, entertainment value, people would think that was pretty entertaining, right? So just those kind of things and stuff, people, whatever, just kind of a different avenue. Some people like JJ, some people don't, but I mean, it's, he brings entertainment to the show, so he's good. But they used to do some other funny things. There was like the racing, like where they would do like the race for shoes thing, for example, and people like that kind of stuff. So I think that kind of stuff is just missing in the show now, and that's maybe some of the ratings falling and stuff like that. If that's actually true, I don't even know for sure. I think I do, because I watch a little bit. I can't remember what the guy's name is there. Slim XYZ or something like that. I watch a little bit of his stuff there. He had said that actually recently too. So what else is there? Said that, well, I guess that the big one there was that accident in Vegas where the guy actually had passed away there. I think his name was Ryan. Yeah, just those types of things happening, if that was going to hinder the show or not, or whatever, put a hindrance on the show or whatever. Things, you know, I don't know. Again, just little things here and there happening. I mean, I don't think it would. You know, it's just part of anything, right? I mean, you're doing something risky, there's a chance that something could possibly happen. And everybody there knows that, right? So, I mean, it could steer some people away from it, I suppose, but you know, obviously JJ and Trisha had gotten in a pretty gnarly accident. We actually saw them not that long after that. That's why I actually have some respect for JJ. I think he's actually like a really, really nice guy. Like, him and his whole family and stuff there. We met them. They're just like normal, average people. They took their time out of their day to actually talk to me and stuff, and talk to my kids. And just, it wasn't like they were trying to just sign something and rush it or whatever. They were actually like having a conversation and stuff. And like, hey man, come over and talk to us basically or whatever. We're just normal people, right? So, which is, you know, people like that, right? When he goes to these arm drops and stuff like that, people enjoy that. You know, he brings a lot of people to the tracks for that reason and stuff. He does a lot for the kids and stuff. You know, maybe a lot of people don't like him and stuff, but you know, everybody could see his character there when Trisha got in a car accident there or whatever. He was still pretty much on fire or whatever, and he's running out to help her before he even thought about himself. So, but you know, that's some real things that people like to see, right? Even though it's like a bad thing, but it's, people like to see people's real personalities and real whatever. I think that's why I actually enjoy watching like Murder Nova say YouTube a lot, even more so than the show sometimes, because it's like his real life, and it's kind of interesting to be like, oh, this is what they do, or this is, you know, how they got this, or what they're doing today or whatever, right? So yeah, but that's kind of the bulk of it there. Like I said, I don't know where it's going to head there. I don't know if they're maybe going to change the format. I really like that they switched to more of the small tire stuff, because obviously they're fast. They're still ridiculously fast. I mean, they have just, I mean, they got so much money in those cars now and stuff. I don't know. I almost wish there was a different way that they could kind of make it more, I don't know, more realistic again for the average guy. I mean, the small tire thing definitely at least makes it a possibility that an average guy could kind of get in there and race with these guys, you know. I know PD Small Block raced with them last year, and he had just bought this, I think it was like this little S10 Blazer or whatever there. He bought it basically with no really knowing of how to race it or tune it or anything really, and you know, he didn't do the best in it, but you know, he got out there and raced and stuff, and I think that's what viewers kind of, you know, kind of interested in, to be like, oh, you know, this is kind of an average person that could kind of get out there and race and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. See, Sean did pretty good in MPK this year and stuff. It was a little changeover. Damon really stepped up this year. I mean, obviously, I think he won the championship again. I don't really follow that one too much, but I believe he won the championship this year. So Kai did really well with his new car there. They built that Regal. Everybody thought he was crazy and stuff, but I mean, yeah, he did crazy well. Ryan, I mean, there was a big rule change this year and stuff that affected a lot of how Ryan kind of, you know, was racing and stuff, which maybe necessarily wasn't fair advantage for him, but I guess if you're going to be racing and that stuff, you have to adapt to what the rules are and stuff, and they're going to keep adapting it so the same guy doesn't have an easy chance of, well, I shouldn't say easy chance, but so they don't have the same chance of winning every single year, right? So, which is cool. I mean, that's cool that David won and stuff. He won him with a nitrous car or whatever. And same thing with Kai there. He had a blower car and stuff. That was pretty neat to see something, a totally different car, and come out there and still be pretty successful. So, yeah, I'm just curious if you guys have any thoughts on what's kind of going on with the show there or whatever, and seeing what's going to happen with the future, if you think it's kind of getting towards the end of what'll happen with that or whatever. But I think street racing, with the way that tracks are closing and stuff like crazy now, I think street racing is just going to get more prevalent. I mean, you know, any you watch any of the 1320 videos or anything like that, I mean, there's so much street racing. Roll racing is getting really popular now, where they basically race from a rolling start or whatever. That's getting to be pretty popular. There is actually some tracks opening back up, or new tracks even opening, which is really awesome to see, because the sport needs that and stuff, and hopefully people get out there and support that. Like I've said that before, you know, get out there and support your local tracks and stuff, even if it's small and you don't even race or whatever. Just get out there and, you know, support them, spend some money or whatever, just buy a burger and buy a gate pass or whatever. It helps them stay alive or whatever, right? So but anyways, guys, yeah, let me know what you kind of think there, what's kind of going on in that world or whatever. Anybody that probably keeps track of it way better than I do, if you've got some insights that I don't or whatever. But I'm gonna cut off for now or whatever, and you guys can catch you on the next one. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Thanks, guys.